And welcome, students, as we dive into our next lesson on council input. Today we're going to examine various methods of the scanner class. So if we wanted to get started with this, recall we've already talked about using the scanner class. We've talked particularly about two different methods in the scanner class, next int and next double. Next int allows us to get an integer from the keyboard, and next double allows us to get a double. So this is very handy because instead of just having a static program like we saw previously, the scanner class has allowed us to pull in different values from the user. However, next int, next double only restricts us to int and double. We can't get anything else. Like, for example, what if I want a string value? Well, there are other methods to get other values. So the first one of these methods is called next. That's it, just .next. This method will read in the next word typed by the user. So whatever the thing is up to your next escape character, like a space, for example, that's going to be put in. So if you type hello, it's going to read in hello. This is really good at capturing a single word or character string. So for example, string word 1 is equal to keyboard.next. And if the user types the words jelly bean, the value of jelly is stored in word 1, and then bean is discarded because it only takes it up to that first space. Java will use white spaces to tell pretty much where one word ends and then another word begins. Now, comparatively, we have another method, which is next line. This is a method of the scanner class that reads in a whole line of text. So rather than just like a single word, it's going to read in a whole line of text. Now, the value of the string will be stored until the user presses enter, which creates a new line. So that's how the program before, like with next, it just looks for the next white space. Here, it's going to be looking for the character term. So string line equals keyboard.next line. So if the user types hello, how are you? Hello, are you feeling okay? Question mark. New line. I'm good, thanks. The program is only going to store that first line. Are you feeling okay? Now, there is some pitfalls of escape sequences that we need to discuss. When we're using next line, the keyboard will start reading wherever the last reading stopped. So, for example, int n equals keyboard.next int, string s1 equals keyboard.next line, string s2 equals keyboard.next line. If we use the code above, suppose the two inputs below are what's typed. Two heads are better than one head. All right, so we'll have the first one, 2, which is going to set end to 2 because it's going to get to the next end. And then the value of S1 to heads are, and value of S2 to better than. So this one head down here is going to get discarded. However, if we look at the second example, we have 2, and then heads are better than, and then one head. Here, and we'll still get 2. S1, though, is going to be an empty string. All right. So because, remember, it has not gone to the next line yet. Then heads are better than will then be S2. All right. You'll notice that S1 in that case didn't really have any values. And that is where we get into the empty string. This is a string object pretty much which has nothing in it. So a string object, if you think about it, has any length of characters. For example, hello exclamation point has 6 characters. If it has 0 characters, it's called an empty string. There's nothing in it. It doesn't mean it's nothing really. It actually has value, but it's just a string that doesn't have any characters in it. This actually can occur a lot more often than you might think it does. For example, if you have a next line method and the person just hits enter, then you've created an empty string. All right, prompting and echoing, another important thing to talk about. Always give your users some kind of prompt to let program is ready to run data. System.println, please enter number. So it's very good to append this before, like if you have your program running, you want them to enter a number that's going to do some math. You want to give them a prompt, for example, that says, please type a number. So that way the program is not just sitting there staring at the user with a blinking cursor waiting for them to input something. You want the program to prompt them because then it gives the user some kind of direction of what they're supposed to do. Another good step, especially when you're first learning the program, is simply just to echo back what the user types. Eventually you don't need to do this, but this is a good way to help verify that what the user has typed is correct. All right, so if they typed, let's say, a 0 instead of a O, all right, that's a good way to look at it. All right, and that's going to wrap up today's notes, folks. So another quick, easy lesson here, and we're going to continue diving our teeth into more complex programming techniques as we go on. Until then.